Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast presented by BuddiesProShop.com. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back, Mike.
It's been a long time, so you're going to get a pass on the bad opening there. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. You had a little butchering there, but it happens, and we're back.
Yes. And
it's a lot of stuff to talk about. It is good to be back. A lot of stuff to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
So where do you want to start?
I think we should start with the event that a lot of people have been anticipating, and some good team bowling that just happened very recently. The Ryder Cup of bowling, the Weber Cup, the 5-on-5 Europe versus the United States. Team USA came out on top, I believe, 23-17 point victory. Basically, for those of you who aren't familiar with the event, it is a race to 23 points, singles, doubles, team competition. They all bowl on one lane, not a pair, one lane.
One lane.
And 5 guys get selected from the United States, and 5 guys get selected from Europe to compete in this great event.
And I think we have to give the shout out to him.
Go ahead.
Grandpa Barnes. Grandpa Barnes bringing home another international title. Captaining up the American team was Grandpa. Simo.
EJ Tackett won the MVP.
Yep. Bill O'Neill.
Yep. And Kyle Troop.
And Team Europe was no slouch either. I mean,
no.
Who did Dom was captaining Team Europe?
Yep.
All right, so it was Barrett, Stewie, Williams, Jesper,
Thomas Larson.
Thomas. I always get Martin and Thomas confused, and
Osku.
And there were a couple highlights from the tournament, from the Weber Cup.
Dom made a big four.
Dom made a big four.
Dom also made a 7-pin.
Dom made a 7-pin. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that was his ball went like halfway down the lane, and his thumb came out, and you saw his thumb rolling on the side of the ball, and he still made the spare.
He did.
That's pretty solid.
That was probably the shot of the tournament right there.
Oh yeah.
Simo shot 300.
Yep.
I think they said that was the 7th 300 in the history of the Weber Cup.
I think it was the first singles 300 in 7 years.
Okay, I knew 7 was tied into that somehow, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then I think the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and maybe we can get a clip of this later, was the messenger that Osku threw when he left. He totally blew the 7-10 out.
I might be able to pull that up. Let me see what I can do here real quick.
That was incredible.
That was nuts.
Yeah, that was nuts. Osku does not get cheated. He never has. And I didn't realize like how strong of a guy Osku is. Everybody says that. He doesn't look it. Looks like a twig.
Did you see the 2-finger thing he did?
Well, which 2-finger thing?
He shot at a 2-4-10 with 2 fingers.
I heard about it.
One hand.
I heard about it. I did not see it.
And made the 2-4-10.
Of course he did.
So anyway, here is that clip of the messenger that we have been talking about.
Oh my Lord, it's not even fair.
This is ridiculous.
See ya.
That's
Like,
nuts.
see ya.
That
Thanks for playing.
that's nuts. That's ridiculous.
Thanks for playing.
Oh yeah. So
Grandpa Barnes can't do that anymore.
no, probably not.
And you know what? He's a big fan of us. We're a big fan of him. But kudos to those guys. Everybody did good. And our buddy was in the booth for this. Matt McNeil. He did the commentary.
Yes, he was.
He looked rather dapper in his suit and tie every day. He did.
Yeah,
But
it was good to see some other faces commentating, especially big bowling names that we know. Darren Tank also commentated as well, along with a couple of European commentators. But overall, the United States took a pretty big lead early. I think they had like a 6 or 7 point lead early, and basically it was just cruise control from there. Europe made a pretty big comeback. They won like 5 or 6 games straight to go from like 19-10 to like 19-16 or 15.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much back and forth once again. But it was after the U.S. won the first 5 or 6 games, it was basically cruise control from there.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody on the U.S. side bowled 250 or higher in the first day. Everybody, they whacked them the first day. So kudos to them. Way to bring it back. 3 in a row for the U.S. now.
Yep.
So now we have the Weber Cup. Let's talk about a little local flair really quick.
The Bowledge Ryder Cup.
The Bowledge Ryder Cup. So for those who don't know what this was an idea that was formulated by Doug Lagaria. I think I'm saying his name right. This founder of Bowledge. And this was supposed to take place back in like April or May, right? No, I'm sorry. It was in the summertime.
Yeah.
It was in the summertime during the pandemic. And this is, you have like the Ryder Cup of golf. And Doug has basically made the Ryder Cup of bowling New York versus New Jersey. And it is just going to be – it's going to be interesting, to say the least. And I'm going to pull up the teams here so we have the right information. But I think everybody needs to know what's going on here, right? And it is 15 on 15, correct, Justin? I think Justin's frozen. He's having some internet problems. But it's 15 on 15 at the Ryder Cup. And let's see here. So, like I said, it is New Jersey versus New York. And I'm still trying to pull up the teams here. So, and Justin is completely frozen. We'll get back to Justin in a second. I'm sure he'll figure out his internet problems. And you people can just listen to me here for a second. Oh, God, it's all me. This is bad. Nobody wants to hear me talk. Oh, there's Justin again. Justin, are you back? Justin's muted. Justin is still muted.
Can you?
All right, now I can hear you. So I've pulled up the rosters for Team New Jersey. So in Team New York, now mind you, it's singles, doubles, teams, Baker doubles, Baker trios. I mean, this is just there's a plethora of events for this thing here.
Yeah.
So for Team New York, captaining Team New York is Mr. 900, Joe Navarra. And he has selected the following players. Joe Scianna, action legend, Alex Cavagnaro, Anthony Pepe, Ian Lang, and here comes Murderer's Row. Justin. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Brian Zizek, Ray Edwards, Brad Angelo, Sammy Ventura, Brian LeClaire. Titleist. Come get some. Darren Andretta, Regional Player of the Year. Jeremy Melito, another guy who shoots 900. Matt Farber, Team USA guy. And Michael Martell, another Team USA guy. That is Team New York.
Yeah.
And honestly, there are so many guys on that list that are just superstars. And people like guys that are left off the list for New York that are just phenomenal players too. Like, how do you select 15, right? So now let's go to Team New Jersey, shall we?
Go ahead.
Captaining Team New Jersey is the one and only Rusty Thompson. Rusty has selected Matt O'Grady, Paul Stolp, Greg Ostrander, Derek Lewandowski, Mr. I Shoot a 300 every week, Brent Tishik, Ray Smarsh, Andrew Sescriba, Bill Ripley, Steve Katowski, Robert Mockenhop, Anthony Bonanno, Robert Smith, Jake Rollins, And the newest member of Team New Jersey, who just got added today, I believe, replacing Kenny Ryan,
is none other than
other
Parker Bohn
than
third.
Parker Bohn III. God, Rusty must have been really desperate. So Parker will be added to Team New Jersey, and this
He
will
did
be
bowl
taken-
827 a few weeks ago.
He did bowl 827 with me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
And what happened? I did shoot. I shot 300 that night. He did not shoot 300.
You beat him one game.
It doesn't matter. One is enough. So this is taking. Yeah, no. So this will be taking place on November 21st at Levittown Lanes out in Long Island, and we will have. I think we talked about this over the summer. We're probably going to have Rusty and Joe on as the event gets closer to talk about it and whatnot and give their takes on how they made their selections. But those are 30 pretty good players right there.
Yeah, extremely good players. And
we're looking at this. Let's look at the roster again. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 national title holders in this tournament. 7 national PBA champions.
Ridiculous.
There's a ton of regional winners. 2 guys that shot 900. Team USA is represented. Bill Ripley, college national champion back in the day. I mean, this is going to be fun. And
yeah.
And I believe they're not going to be too hard. They're going to be kind of on the softer side. So the guys are going to strike a lot.
It's going to be fun to watch.
We'll have to talk to Doug to see if we can get up there and take part in this somehow, especially now that we have representation in the tournament. Yeah, we're represented, so we have to get up there and see if we can get our hands on this and help out somehow. So that is the Ryder Cup of bowling. What else do we got here?
So I think we should talk about the event that the Bohn and Zano Zone is hosting.
And actually, that we will. And I just got a deposit, actually. As we were on the show, I just got another deposit for another entry. So we are running our first ever tournament on November 25th at Howell Lanes, 8 p.m. Thanksgiving Eve. And for those that don't know what it is or what we're doing, we've been publicizing. Justin, you have the flyer?
It's my computer's running a little slower. Internet's been
your internet
now.
Yeah, your internet's bugging in. So it is going to be November 25th at Howell Lanes, 8 p.m. It is a $500 entry fee. 8 games. It is not total pins. You are not bowling the field. It is not a total pins tournament. What we are doing in mirroring the Midnight Bowler Society out in St. Louis, we will be paying out every game. So every game, look at it this way, every game is like a new tournament. We are capping the field at 64 bowlers. 8 will cash every game. If you are the high score in any game, you win $1,000. If you finish 4th, or you have the 4th highest score in any game, you get $500 and you get your money back. There is no limit on cashing, obviously. And it is a $3,800 prize fund per game. We are paying out with 64 entries over $30,000 that night. I can't think of a better way to get some extra Christmas money and get to start the holidays off the right way, Justin. I mean, this is going to be a good event. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of talk about it. Entries are coming in. We have some big names already on the roster. We will release the roster as we get a little closer. We'll put it on our page, on the tournament page, and on our show's Facebook page. But it's going to be a good event. They will not be easy. I'm telling you that right now. If you think you're going to come out and put up 500 and you're going to strike for 8 games straight, you are thinking incorrectly. They are going to be hard. And our esteemed friend down in Sebring, Florida, Mr. Janowitz, will be helping us make them hard. Yeah. So if you think you're going to come out there and bowl 250 every game, you are mistaken. That is not going to happen. This is going to be a tournament where it's going to be an emphasis on shot making your spares, and we want to see 230, 240 every game, win every game. So that is what we are doing on Thanksgiving Eve. We hope to see you there. Any questions or comments, or you want to reserve a spot, just reach out to Justin or myself, and we will put you on the roster. And I believe the last time I checked, I had just over 30 entries. I think I had about 10 or 12 paid deposits.
Okay.
And Justin, I will also say this. I'm not going to say who they are, but there are 2 national title holders that are supposedly flying in for this tournament.
Hmm?
I'm not going to say who. You know who they are.
Yeah, let's not say who.
We're not going to say who they are, but this is getting some buzz. So there's going to be it's a strong field, and we're looking forward to it. So November 25th, 8 p.m. Howell Lanes. Be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. So, Mike, I think it's time. I think we should go over the PBA playoffs. What we advertised this show to be about. So,
Yep.
I think we'll get right into it. Mike, you got the clips ready, correct?
I do. So we are going to hit the. I'm not the tech guy in our little operation we have here. So we're going to hit the share screen button, right, Justin?
Yes, sir.
And we are going to go.
We're gonna start with episode 1.
Episode 1, and in episode 1 we had. I'm going to let it
Jacob,
play, right?
Yeah. So pop it up on the screen, and hey, we'll get this thing going.
All right, I'll hit the play button here, and
so one of the new things, as they're talking about now, they partnered up with WWE and introducing the PBA playoffs belt will go to the winner of this year's event. I think that's super cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up watching the WWE, and I think that belt's just the coolest thing ever. I just want to bowl the event.
Absolutely.
I want to bowl the event just to have that belt.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
so
the belt probably weighs more than Frankie Lavoie does.
Probably. So the first match in the round of 24 featured Tommy Jones and Jacob Buttriff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this match was a fairly close game throughout the entire match, as we see Jacob leaving a nasty blower 7 in frame 1 and
whiffing it. Flag day.
That's 9 miss in frame 1.
Come on, Jacob. You're better than that, buddy.
He's been known for that, doing that a couple of times on TV, and he started off the match with 9 miss, and that could have helped the score a little bit later on, as we'll see.
And both throwing urethane.
Yep.
And
the pattern wasn't super easy, and there wasn't a lot of holds, so they were trying to make them a little bit easier by throwing urethane, and you can see their angles are pretty straight to the front part of the lane.
Yeah, and when we had Prather on a couple weeks ago, a bad shot there from TJ, but when we had Prather on and he was breaking down the league, he was saying how hard it is to cross pairs in this house. The topography is just so bad there. And were you the one, Justin, that said that this is the center that doesn't host like leagues or anything? It's a strictly a party center or a boutique bolero place? That's
what I had heard. So through 5 frames, you can see on the scoreboard once it pops back up on the bottom. This match is dead even through 5 frames. TJ with a really good shot there. But, I mean, this match was pretty back and forth almost the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say on my bracket board, I had Tommy Jones winning. You see Jacob sends a pretty nice messenger there for a triple and the lead.
And there's TJ with the urethane hit blower 7 there. That's a urethane hit right there.
Yeah, his ball wasn't going through it the greatest. I think he could have gotten away with throwing a little bit of a stronger ball. Oh, a nasty solid 8 there from Jacob. But I think Tommy could have used a little bit of a stronger ball, and I think that would have helped his pin carry just a little bit. But his pocket control might have gone down a little bit, and I can understand why he was throwing urethane from the beginning. So as we get up here now in the 9th frame, Tommy needs all 4 to force Jacob to throw all 3 in the 10th to win by 1 pin.
There's 1.
Smacks a 7. Smacks a 10. Pretty silly there.
Here's 2. And give him the business there, as only TJ would do. Typical TJ reaction. And that one's in a little bit. And 10 back.
So now Jacob needs all 3 to win in the 10th in the first round.
Great shot there. That was in. That shot was in a little bit.
And this is a winner go home format. This is one game. You win, you move on. You lose, you go home. With $100,000 for first place.
Yeah, that was in a little bit in too. And he did what he has to do. I mean, he does what he does. This kid is phenomenal, and he just won his 25th regional over the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. So as you see there, he dead packed all 3, threw them all really good, and I mean that was pretty impressive finish, I will say.
Yeah, that was a good finish. Just thinking
and
about it really quick.
giving it the business as he's supposed to in that kind of moment. I mean, that he's
Yeah,
supposed to.
absolutely. And honestly, uh, here we go. The next one. Can I pause this for a second as I talk or
Yeah,
no?
go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
I go back to the other tab and pause it, right?
Yeah,
All right. So
there you
just
go.
getting back to Buttriff really quick. He's unbelievable. He did what he had to do. And if this was a sign of what you're going to see for this whole tournament with that opening match, I think we're in for a treat. And well, we were in for a treat in the next match here, don't you think, here, Justin?
Yeah, Francois Lavoie and Norm Duke. I mean, Norm's been bowling pretty good on tour overall. The past few years, he was the number 24 seed. Kind of surprising, believe it or not. And I mean, his ball wasn't going through it the greatest this match.
No, and a
As
lot of
Frankie missed a 10 pin that match. I
10-pin.
forgot about that.
Oh, Norman did
And
too.
and by the way, Frankie had missed a show or missed a chance at a show,
And he has
lost in a
another one.
roll.
See?
Frankie needed it to make a 10 pin to force a roll off in game 5 to make the show, one of the animal pattern shows at
Yes.
the World Series, and missed it.
Yes. And now Frankie is just doing what Frankie does and just he strikes a lot.
He's running them over, splitting boards. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he is oh my lord, hot garbage there.
I mean, I heard that this was the highest game of the first show in the first round, and you'll see, we'll talk about it a little bit later, as, I mean, 250. The first game was won with 214 or 215.
Yeah. And they do get fresh every match, so they are stripping and reoiling every match.
I think it's fresh burn.
Oh, really? I thought they got fresh every match.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
I think they re-oil after 2 matches.
Okay, I am sorry. So Frankie takes down the great Norm Duke. And then we're going to go to the Dom Barrett Dick Allen match. Dick Allen, most underrated bowler on tour in the past 15 years, in my opinion.
The typical house bowler, as he's got tattooed on his arm.
But I mean, most underrated bowler on tour. I mean, this guy can play, man. He really can.
Yeah, he knows how to bowl. He had a few pretty not great shots on the left lane to start the match. I think leaving a 310 and a 3610. And this match was pretty close fairly early. I think Dick just wasn't really comfortable on that left lane. As you see, that one goes high there for Dom.
Yeah,
and then misses the spare. But I think once Dick got comfortable on that left lane, it was
game over.
It was about all she wrote.
Yeah, I agree. He kind of just found it, and then he just does what he does, and he strikes a lot. And I'm telling you, he's the most underrated player on tour. I mean, this guy knows how to bowl. He knows how to win too. He does.
Yeah. So 12-pin match here. This one takes a 22-pin lead. Throws that one pretty good. Gets the light mixer, and Dom honestly just looked like he looked a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, he doesn't look like himself on the show.
He looked like he could have had the wrong ball, but once Dick got this one pretty much just about wrapped it up, sealed the deal.
That's all she wrote. He knew it too. He walked that one out, and he was motivated on that shot. You see what I just did there? Motivated. See what I just did there?
Hilarious.
I know. And Dom just didn't look comfortable from the start. And
no, it really didn't look like when he did strike, he could only throw a double, and that was about all she wrote this game. But I mean, Dick moved on, and I can't remember who he bowled. He bowled Anthony Simonson, I believe, in the next round. And we will see that shortly in a minute. We'll see
it after this little ad here.
Yeah, don't mind the ad break. Mike, you can skip the ad in the bottom right corner. We don't need to watch this.
Nope, we don't.
So the next match, Marshall Kent and Chris Vi, 2 pretty good buddies, 2 fairly young guys on the PBA tour. And Marshall, just after losing his dad, came back to compete in the playoffs, and it was pretty important for him to win this. And he had an extra reason to win this one for sure, no doubt.
I'll tell you what, man. I said it. Marshall was my pick to win the whole thing just because of everything he went through, and I mean, how bittersweet would that be? You know, going through what he went through and then come back and then win the whole thing. He was my pick on my bracket that I filled out to win the whole tournament, and he's due for a win too. Marshall hasn't been in the winner's circle in a while.
Yeah, it seems like Marshall's got something going on in his head when he gets on TV that unfortunately is getting in the way of him winning more often. But I think once he does overcome that, and it'll just take time.
Yeah.
Like EJ Tackett was the same way. EJ
Hey, look
didn't
at
win
those
on TV.
eyes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They're
EJ didn't win
determined.
on TV for
A
10 or
while.
15 shows.
Yeah.
And like it almost seemed like he had no idea what he was doing on TV. And then once he got comfortable on TV and
Forget
once
it.
he could get to more shows, it was all she wrote.
Yeah.
Marshall hasn't made as many TV shows, and I think once he does start to make more TV shows, that's the only way you're going to learn by it.
You
So,
know,
Mike, I got to
yeah,
add one thing about. Oh, I didn't
please.
even show it, but the Chris Vi had two really good shots on the left lane late in this match, and I mean, this match was basically after Marshall did that was in Chris Vi's hands to
Yeah.
win, and he was on a double going into the eighth, rang a 10.
Mhm.
Got up and threw a pretty good one there, and then threw another
There.
really good shot and super ring in 10 again. And
There it is.
honestly, if one of those two fall, that
It's a
makes this
different
10th
game.
frame for Marshall a whole different story.
Oh God, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I when I watch Marshall on TV, I sometimes think that he starts too far left a lot of times. I think maybe if he was able to like square up and keep it a little bit more in front of him, you know, that's where he gets into trouble a lot of times. It seems like when he's on the show, he's so far left all the time.
And I think that's his A game, but after they
Yeah.
break down one or two games on tour, I think that's just the move to go to, and that's where guys get comfortable. So their favorite part of the lane to bowl on those patterns normally is a little
Mhm.
bit further left. So I can understand where he's coming from there. But I think earlier on in the shows, it seems like he's too far left. But he
Yeah.
also does have a lot of hand that he can play that far left.
He's a 500 rev rate, so he has no choice. He's forced to play the fifth arrow most of the times anyway. So he's a great player, and he want to see Marshall. It could be the name too, Justin. And you can probably ask Dad about this. Marshall Holman, for the longest time, was snake bitten on TV for a long time. Maybe it's just the name Marshall.
Yep. So, Mike,
So that's episode 1.
let's move on to the round of 16 here.
All right. So now what do I do here? We're gonna
Stop the share.
We're gonna stop the share here. I'm still learning this, guys. So have some patience here.
Walk you through it.
Yeah. So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go to episode 2. Episode 2, we had some fireworks.
Yeah, episode 2 was a pretty exciting episode. We'll talk through it as it goes through, but this was a pretty good show overall with some pretty big names early, and I do got to add one thing: the Sean Rash opening was, I think, directed at Jason Belmonte. I mean, did you see it?
Oh, of course I saw it.
I mean, it was. They talked about the rivalry that they've had for the past few years.
A bottle.
And
yeah.
if they both win their first match, they move on and bowl each other.
That wasn't a fix at all, was it?
I mean, it worked out the way that it worked out, but I mean that would have been an absolutely unreal match to watch.
Absolutely. It's a shame that it could have happened in round 2. You want to see that happen for the title. You want to see these two bowl for 100,000. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't think there's a better rivalry in the past maybe decade or so than Rash and Belmonte.
That is the rivalry of the past decade, without a doubt.
Yeah, there's
Mike,
nothing
can you
better.
click the little X off of that ad? That way we don't have to look at it on the screen.
That's for Nutrisystem, Justin. They're trying to give me a tip here. All right,
so
let's go to Belmo and Buttriff here in the second round here.
And Jacob talked about in the pre-interview that you never know what you're going to get with this guy when he bowls on TV. It can be he can start off with the front 7, or he can miss a couple of spares and bowl
Belmo said that,
190.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's 270 or 180.
Yeah,
and Belmo's starting with a urethane ball. I thought that wasn't the right move, honestly.
Yeah. Do you think that was a shot at Buttriff from what Belmo was saying? Like he took a little bit of a shot at him?
I don't think so. I think he was kind of just stating the obvious.
Yeah, but almost like a little bit of a head game, just to get in his head a little bit, make him,
It could have been. So after this one here, Belmont hit the pocket all 4 shots, flat 10 twice and 7-10. I thought it was time for him to change balls, but then Jacob gives it right back again.
Yep.
And I mean, I think Belmo definitely got away, but I think he's going to need a little bit more score personally in the next match that he bowls.
Yeah,
and even there too. I mean, that one wasn't a
didn't.
terrible shot, and it never hooked.
No, it laughed at him. That ball did a backstroke on him.
Yeah, but pretty big spare there to maintain the lead, and then get slight mixer there in the sixth. I mean, this match wasn't really one way or the other. It was pretty tie ball game or less than 10, almost the whole match.
It kind of seemed like, hey, I don't want it. You take it. No, I don't want it. Let me give it back to you. It seemed like nobody really wanted to win this match.
I know.
Why are we still seeing ads there? I clicked out of the ads, Justin.
You got to click off it one more time. It's all right.
Yeah, it seemed like but I agree with you. I don't think urethane was the right move for Belmo. I don't.
I think he could have gotten away with it. And personally, we'll see in the next match that I think reactive could definitely be the move.
Yeah.
And it's obviously all rev rate based and personal feeling, but Belmo threw a few in a row there to really take the lead. And then here comes Jacob with those few bad shots. I mean, this is a 180 game.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's already split 3 times, made one of them, but I mean, you never know. He could start off with the front 7 or split a couple of times early, miss a single pin or 2, and bowl 180.
Yeah, and exactly what Belmo said. Randy said it too. I mean, and this one's wasn't his best. Again, it was like one of those things. Like, I just don't want it. You take it. I don't want it. You take it. And this was like a typical grind game for these guys. It seemed like.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think that the next match would be any higher scoring than what it was. Up in the next match is Sean Resch and Francois Lavoie. Frankie bowled 250, I think 7, and that was the high game of the tournament up until this next match.
Up until this match.
And we just saw the match before. This match right here. Belmo just won with 205.
Yeah. Best in the world, 205. So,
and last year, the first and second best in the world.
Yeah. And so you're having the 2-time U.S. Open champion and Resch, almost a 20-time titleist. And Frankie, this guy's touch is unbelievable. His touch is sick.
I mean, this guy definitely did put on a show this game. And we'll see early on. I mean, his looks pretty good.
And Resch tried to be right on top of him. Resch was right on top of him.
I think that was the right move, too.
Absolutely.
After watching what Sean did last year, using that big fireball up 8, 9, 10, I think that was the move, personally. But I think Sean's got that when that's there, when there's that little bit of hold and that little bit of hook right, and he can do that. He did it at the PBA League. I think that's the right move for him.
Yeah, Sean's really good at doing that. He's really good at doing that.
And he strikes a lot when he does it, when he has it.
Correct. And then here you go. I mean, Frankie just minus the trip 4 and that little light mixer there. He just put 10 back every shot.
And I mean, look at Sean's game. He's got 2 strikes so far in 6 games and hasn't really made a terrible shot.
No, and it's just Frankie just doing Frankie. I mean, every shot is just eased it at 10 back every shot.
I mean, he's lacing shots. You can see on the shot track to the right of the screen. I mean, these shots are identical.
Yeah, they're absolutely. He's splitting boards right there. I mean, he's just. See ya. Look at that. And 10 back. It's hard to beat that.
Sean's bowling 190. Frankie's got the front 7. And Sean can strike out for 240. And the high game before this was
205.
250?
Oh, in the tournament, yeah, 250. Yeah.
250. Right. And I mean, Marshall won with 2-teen. Dick Allen, I think, bowled 230 and won. Frankie bowled 250, but his opponent only bowled 190. And the first match was 2-teen to 2-teen.
Yeah, and then this is just
Sean bowled 230, and I mean, it was really irrelevant at this point, but he bowled 230 and lost.
And boom, there you go. I mean, God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, congrats to Francois.
A 300 guy.
Game, I believe number 29 on TV, and the second guy ever to have 2 300s on TV. And believe it or not, he did. The first guy was the guy he bowled.
But yes, I think you are correct.
That was a pretty big showing there from Francois.
Yeah,
he's got 550 for 2 now. By the way,
he put his foot down. He put his stamp on this tournament. He put his stamp in the bracket. Like, I am going to be a force to be reckoned with moving forward, guys.
And Belmo's going to have his hands full.
Yeah.
In the round of 8, that will be not this weekend, but that will be next weekend for the round of 8.
Yep. So I have the stupid ads. And these ads are really annoying. You know that?
Oh, well, people got to make money, right?
Yeah, I understand. And then here we go. So Simonson and Dick Allen, and Simonson throwing urethane.
And it looks like after watching a few guys, this looked like it was the right move. Um, and we talked about it with Sean, using that knuckleball up like 8, 9, 10. That's basically what the two-handers are doing with urethane here.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I think it wasn't a terrible move. I think Dick was a little bit uncomfortable to start. As you see, he doubles there in the 4th and 5th, but I think Simonson had the right ball in his hand and set him up really good. The main difference between Simonson and Belmo, I think, was that Simonson was throwing it harder.
Yes, and,
right.
and he was also keeping it a little bit more in front of him. He wasn't going. Belmo was kind of going a little bit left to right, where Simonson was kind of throwing the high hard one.
Yeah, I agree. So when we see here, it's a 12-pin game. Neither one of these guys are bowling anything a lot.
No.
Simonson with a double, and then a triple there, tripping the 4, and he basically put his foot in the ground.
Dick was probably the furthest left. He was the furthest left out of anybody on the show. Well, maybe except for Marshall.
Yeah, and that one hurt.
That was it.
Solid 9 there, because that keeps this game extremely close. And but Simonson's look was really good that it didn't even matter if it did strike or not. It would have made the story a little bit different, but the score said it didn't matter.
No, it didn't matter. Simonson is really tough when he can throw urethane up the track. He is really tough when he has that look.
Yeah, he's extremely good at it too. And I think that was the main difference. And I think Belmo, if he tried to throw it a little bit harder up the track, I think that would have made the difference. So
yeah, here we go to the final match.
We got King Shark, Clark Kent, or
just Prather.
Shark Prather, whatever you want to
call this guy.
And Marshall Kent. The reigning playoffs champion and the guy who seems to bowl the best when all the money's on the line.
Yeah, when there's 6 figures on the line, Prather's in the top 5 somehow. And he didn't look too comfortable in the beginning of the match.
No, and I think he did change balls. I think he threw 2 different balls to start on 2 lanes, and then in the middle of the game, he changed balls and was able to capitalize on it. Yeah. And I think that was the big difference maker once he did make that ball change.
Yeah, and notice how Marshall's a little bit more right in this match too, and ringing 10 there. It seemed like Marshall's ball was standing up a lot in the back.
And that could be part of the reason why he did start a little bit further left in the last match, was to cross a little bit more boards and to save a little bit more energy, get away from that oil to get your ball to stop standing up as early.
Yeah.
And I think this was the frame that he changed balls, took the lead to 13, and then threw it really good here again.
Yeah.
To make it 23 and really, really step on it.
Yeah, he had his foot on Marshall's throat at this point, and good shot there, takes the 10 out. And that's just a kick right in the pants right there. You can't throw any better than that.
That was the same story in the last match with Dick Allen.
Yes.
Dick Allen left that solid 9 in the 9th on the left lane on a strike and really could have kept it close. And then you see Prather there barely gets the 10 out. But he had enough there, and it was all she wrote.
Yeah, and he is moving on. And classy act by Prather. I don't know if you read this or heard about this. Prather told Marshall that he didn't really want to win, and he was pulling for Marshall to win the whole thing, just like we were saying before.
He said
something along those lines,
on the
right?
TV show that pause this bracket here real quick.
It's actually over, so we're gonna stop it.
Okay, so we'll leave this on the screen here just to talk about the bracket here in a minute. But Marshall, obviously with his dad just passing away, Chris said in the pre-show interview that he wouldn't mind losing to Marshall because of everything that was going on, and if he did, he would definitely want him to go all the way and win.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
So the next show that will be coming up is the second round of 24.
Yep.
Kyle Sherman, AJ Johnson, Darren Tang, Nick Pate, Tom Smallwood, Grandpa Barnes, and Brad Miller and Tom Doherty. So some pretty good matches, some pretty exciting ones. But then also advancing in the round of 8 on the left side of the bracket, Jason Belmonte is going to be bowling Francois Lavoie, and Anthony Simonson is bowling Chris Prather again, and they bowled each other, I believe, in the round of 4 last year in the final in Maine.
And just to correct me if I'm wrong, the title match, it's a 3-game match, right? It is not a winner. It is not a 1-game match, right?
I'm not sure about that one.
It's not one. Is it 1 game? Or I don't think it's 1 game, right?
I don't know if it is 1 game, but last year the format was different, where all the matches were the same. It was the race to 2, and if it's tied 1-1, you go into a roll off. I think it was the same thing, but it could have been possibly last year that it was the 3rd game. But
gotcha.
The defending champ still alive in the bracket, and it's going to be exciting to see who comes down and wins this belt.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Cool. It's gonna be exciting, and whoever does win the belt, I gotta get in contact with them. I just gotta take a picture with it.
We gotta get the belt. That's better than winning the green jacket. The belt,
no doubt.
The belt is pretty cool. And then
that's officially on my bucket list now. The playoffs is a cool thing to win, obviously because it's the playoffs.
Yeah,
but when you add in a WWE belt with PBA plates on the side, oh, sign me up.
Absolutely. And so when we get into it next weekend, on the opposite side of the bracket that we have not had yet, so we're going to see Bill O'Neill, Kyle Troop, EJ, and Jesper next week.
Yeah.
So the big boys are coming out in a week.
And I think we'll do this again with 2 shows. I think it worked really well. Watching the videos and basically talking it through as it went through, I think it worked really well.
So who's your pick?
I don't know. I mean, I filled out a bracket before, but I think I picked Norm to win over Frankie in the first match. And I think that was clearly a wrong move on my end after watching ball reaction from Frankie. I mean, you look at Frankie right now, he's got 557 for 2.
Yeah.
And nobody else has bowled more than 230.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And we don't know what's coming out next. And looking at the guys that bowled the league that are also in the upcoming matches, and I'm going to take Barnes for the example. Barnes' ball reaction in the league was terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not a shot at Chris or anything, but every shot he threw, it rolled out on him. Like, his look was not very good. And this is the same pattern they bowled on in the league, I think, right?
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
But knowing what we know about the topography of the building, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'll give you a pick here. And I don't think he's definitely not the favorite. He's not the 1 seed. I don't think, unless Belmo does something different, I don't see Belmo surviving this. I really don't. I don't see him. I don't see him
with
getting
the urethane.
No, I don't see him. And this, again, not a knock at Belmo, but I don't think he beats Frankie when Frankie has that look. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, with the way that he bowled in the first 2 shows, lacing shots and having as good as a ball reaction he did with his ball going through the pins the way that it did, Belmo's got his hands full.
Oh, without a doubt he does. Frankie is not going to be my pick, though.
Okay, who's your pick?
I gotta go with it. There's nobody better in the world when there's 6 figures on the line than Prather.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, he's done it.
I agree with that.
He's a defending champion. He's done it in the format before. When the money's up there, he always finds a way to bowl 230 somehow. And look, I've said this to you. I've said this to a lot of people. I think Chris Prather, has the best physical game in the world. His physical game is phenomenal. His release is phenomenal. I think he's the best, in my opinion, the best one-handed player in the world. And now you put in all the other accolades. You're bowling for 6 figures. The belt, all this stuff. Prather always finds a way to get there. And I would have to say Prather is my pick to win it again this year.
Okay.
But we don't know what the left side's going to be. I mean, Jesper's coming in.
Yep.
And he is the only lefty in the field that's left because Buttriff is eliminated, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so he is the only lefty that is in the field.
Yeah, and I think AJ Johnson's overdue. I think with the way that he bowled in the PBA league, having comfort on that TV pair, I think that will make a difference in his match. Um, I think it's his time. I think he could make a small run here.
And he will definitely give it the business. He will definitely be fired up on the show.
And I think this is something that he's going to excel in, these one game formats where all the money's on the line, and he's going to get hyped up. He's going to let his opponent know about it.
Yeah, he's not going to hold back, and he's just going to see Brad Angelo in his opponent's face and just give him the business.
Oh my!
I had to, but no,
Oh my God.
AJ is overdue. He definitely is overdue, and he doesn't miss it at the bottom, man. He catches
That'd be a pretty good first PBA title at the PBA playoffs for 100,000.
And this does count as a title now.
Yeah,
it does count as a title. What is the schedule for the rest of the year?
I believe this is the last event of the year for the PBA.
And then the World Series. Do we have a schedule for? Are they even having the World Series next year? Do we know?
I haven't seen a 2021 schedule yet.
I know that we have.
This is the last event for the PBA tour on a schedule
for this year.
Yep.
So listen to the PBA players, guys. Great tournament Thanksgiving Eve. Want to bowl for some real cash? It's $30,000 up for grabs. Come down to Jersey.
Come get some. So
come get some. So we'll be back next week
or the week after.
Yeah, maybe
we'll see. We'll see.
I will tell you that my messages, my inbox has been getting kind of busy this week.
Okay.
A lot of people have been asking, when are you bringing Rudy Revs back on the show?
I would believe that.
And I said, well, we've had some scheduling. You're back in school. You've been doing some traveling. So we're working on it. So I think, Justin, we need to get on the ball. And maybe I'm going to start making some calls. And we got to have part 2 story time. It's a lot of people are asking for it.
I think we're going to make it happen. So, Mike, I think we're going to wrap this one up.
Let's do it.
It's been a really good show. If you want more information on the first ever Bohn and Zano Zone Open, be sure to message one of us. We'll get back to you and put you on the list if you are interested as well. And yeah, we're going to wrap this one up. So thank you to our sponsors, buddiesproshop.com. Be sure to use coupon code ZONE5OFF to save 5% off of your next order. Bowl for Life, be sure to go check out bowlforlife.com for all of their great stuff. Chuck Gardner's doing amazing things with his team as well.
Love Chucky.
And yeah. Oh, also be sure to go check out my YouTube channel. And
yeah, you had a big feat yesterday, right? You had a big accomplishment.
I did. I hit 2,000 subscribers and also had my first video with 10,000 views, which was 2 pretty big milestones for me. So I'm excited. And all I'm saying is it's not
this is
stop.
This is the syrup Nutella thing. Was that the video that got the?
Yes.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
So
I still can't see how you can put Nutella on bacon. I'm sorry.
You can't.
You cannot do it.
No. So be sure to always put syrup on your bacon, Mike.
Yes. Always.
This is the Bohn and Zano Zone. I'm Justin Bohn, my partner Mike Val, and we will see you next time in the zone.
Later, guys.